Okay, next we are going to implement the select quizzes based on the subject and chapter selection, where user can filter the quizzes based on the subject selection or the chapter selections. For now, inside the user dashboard, we have the dashboard and leaderboard board um, routes. For selecting the quiz, we have to create another route that will be the select quiz. So we will create a new route for select quizzes, and then we have to create the template for that. So let's start with the select quiz route first. So for creating the route, we have to open the routes.py file and start creating another route. That's f dot route, and this will be select quiz. In the select quiz, we are going to use this route for two purposes. First, for the get, and the second, we have to also we need to submit the filter form. So we also need a post method for the same route. So get and post, we have to provide two methods here. So get and post. Okay, and this will be login required. Obviously, the def will be select quiz. Okay, next, um so what data you know uh, is required for um, quiz filter and to list the quizzes? So first we need, like, we are creating the filter for the subject and chapters. Obviously we needed the subjects list, and then we will needed the chapters list, and we also needed all the quizzes. Okay, so one by one we will list. So first will be subjects. For listing the subjects, so subject dot query dot all. The second we will need it the chapters. The chapters will be chapter dot query dot all, and the next, or the last, we needed the quizzes. So quizzes will be quiz dot query dot all. Okay, then we need to return the render template, where we have to create a new template that will be select quiz.html, and in the template we will provide all three params. Subjects will be subjects, chapters will be chapters, and quizzes will be quizzes. Okay, so we have our template and we have provided the param subjects, chapters, and quizzes. Next we have to create this template inside the templates directory. So open the templates directory, and in the templates directory just create this file and start creating the content. So the first will be, we have to extend this using the layout.html, and then we needed the block title. The title will be select quiz and block. Then we needed a block for content, block content, that will be end block. In the content, so we have to uh, show the subject as list for selection, and then we have to show chapters also for the selection, and the quizzes we will show using the table. Okay, so for selection, basically we have to create a form. So create a form first, and the form method will be post. Okay, we will implement the functionality at the last. The method will be post. Then for selection, we needed to create the div element, and the div element, um, this div will be for the subject selection. So label for subject ID, select subject, and then for showing the list, we have to use the select element, and the select ID will be subject ID as we have used for in the label, and then name subject. So we can pick the form value using the name attribute, and inside the select we have to provide the option. So the first option will be a blank value, because we have to show the option to select only. This will not be the option to, you know, this will not be valid option, but it is just the initial option, the first option that will show every time if you haven't selected any option. So select subject. Okay, and then we have to create we have to run a for loop. So for subject, in subjects that we have provided in params, and then end for loop, and inside this for loop we have to list the options, so it will loop or the subjects and create the options for every subject. So option value will be subject dot id, and the label for the option will be subject dot name. Okay, similarly we have to do it for chapters. So for chapter, create a new element div element, and then the label, and this label will be for the chapter ID, and then select. So use the select element, and the ID will be chapter ID, and the name will be chapter ID. Then the first option will be a blank value, and the label will be select chapter, and we have to also create run a loop here for chapters. So for chapter in chapters, and then end for loop, and then we will list all the options for this for all the chapters. So the value will be chapter.id, and the label will be chapter.name. Okay, right. And outside the form, we also have to add a button to submit this form. So button type will be submit, and the button label will be like filter quizzes. Okay, and then outside the form we have to list our quizzes in the table format. So For um, okay, just create a table first, coach. Um, After creating the table, we will add the logic for filtering and all. So inside the table, we have to create a table head. And as a table head, we have the tr, and then the tr. Inside the tr, we will have the th value. Um, if you remember, we have created a quiz section inside the admin dashboard. So just open that one, manage quizzes, and copy all four headings. Okay, and paste it here. So we will have the name, date of quiz, and the time duration. And then we will have to create one more uh, column that will be for actions, because we have to create another column to attempt that quiz. And then we have to create the t body. Inside the t body we will have the tr column, and inside the tr we will have the td. So also copy the td from the manage quizzes, cause we have to list the quiz id, quiz name, date of quiz, and time duration. And we have to loop through this for every row. So for quiz in quizzes, and then close the for loop here, and inside the tr just paste all the tds. So quiz.id, quiz.name, date of quiz, and time duration, and one more td for the link to attempt the quiz. Okay, that so for that we have to add anchor tag, and the href will be url for, and which URL we have to use for attempting the quiz. So the URL for attempting the quiz is um, attempt quiz, where we have to provide the quiz ID. So URL for attempt quiz, and uh, the quiz ID. So quiz ID will be okay. Use the comma first, and quiz ID will be quiz.id. Close the anchor tag, and the tag label or the string will be attempt. Okay, so we have created the table. Now load this. Okay, we have to create one more link for jumping to the uh, select quiz. So open our layout file, and inside the layout file create one more link for select quiz. The label will be select quiz 2. Reload the page, and we have another link, select quiz, and when we click here, so we got the template rendered here for the select quiz. And we have the table for all the quizzes that we have for now. So we have the two quizzes uh, for and the filter form. So we have the subjects, maths and science, and the chapters, algebra and biology. Label, I think we have missed here for the chapter, so add the label and one more heading also. So open our select quiz template, and yeah, so the label value we have missed. So the select chapter, and we also have to have one more heading that will be select quiz. Okay, cool. Reload the page again, and we have the heading select quiz, and the select subject, select chapter. Chapter is algebra biology, and subject is mathematics and science. And the button right now it will not work because we haven't implemented the logic for the filter functionality. Okay, but we can see the quiz is listed for users, so user can attempt. Okay, need some of the formatting also for the date and the time. So For the date, just filter it using the strf time, and we have to just list the date, not the time. So percent %y, percent %m, and percent %d. So it will filter the date, and the time duration we have to show in as minutes. So divide by 60, and the time duration, add a bracket in minutes. All the values are in minutes. Save it and reload the page again. Okay, so the date of quiz is formatted as date only, and time duration is minutes. So 10 minutes, 10 minutes for both quizzes. Cool. Uh, Next we have to um, add the logic for filtering the quizzes. But we have only two quizzes, so we cannot uh, see the effect. So we need lot of data for the quizzes. So I have managed to fetch some of the data for seed, and we are going to use that data, so we can have a lot of data to test the filter functionality. So just close the server for now, replace the seed data with the new data. So we have a lot of data, like we have three subjects. So open side by side. Okay, so we are going to have our seed file. So open the seed file, seed.py, and replace the subject data. So we have only two subjects here, but we are adding three subjects total. And then replace the chapters dot data. So chapters, we are going to have five chapters: the algebra, geometry, physics, chemistry, and world history. So chapters data, replace the existing one. So we have the two chapters, and we are replacing with the five chapters. Cool. Then quizzes, we are going to have 10 quizzes total. So algebra basics, geometry basics, physics basics, chemistry basics, world history basics, advanced algebra, advanced geometry, advanced physics, advanced chemistry, and advanced world history. Copy these all quizzes data. So 10 quizzes data, replace the existing one, that those are only six. Oh, okay. Existing one having two quizzes only, but we are going to have 10. Okay. 10 having same date time and the same time duration. So 10 minutes I have given for all. Okay, so quizzes data we have replaced. Now we have bunch of question data. For each of the quiz we will have something around 2 to 3 questions. So it will something around 30 to 40 questions. So just copy whole data. um, so I have been copying the whole data here and replacing with the existing question data. So existing question data might be we'll have only the 6 to 7, I guess. So I am replacing all the question data here. Okay, so we will have a lot of data. For using the new seed, uh, we have to delete the existing instance of the database again, and then we have to run the script to create the database. So Flask db create. So admin created, database created, and then seed the database with new data. So db seed, and database seeded successfully. Now run the server again and reload this. Okay, first thing is unauthorized cause. The user that we had earlier has gone. We have to create another user again. So go to the register part again, create a many.money1 at the test password, confirm password, full name, education 111993, submit it, and we have logged into the dashboard again. And if we now select the select quiz link, so we have lot of quizzes here. Okay, and in each quiz we have questions list also, 2 to 3 questions. So it was required to test the filter functionality because we needed a lot of data to test all the filters. Now we have the subject as math, science, and history, the chapters as the algebra, geometry, physics, chemistry, world history, and we will add the logic for filtering. Um, for seed data, what you can do, um, so I have added new seed data where you will get, you can um, follow the GitHub link that I will provide in the description of the video. So in each of the video there is a description, there is a link for GitHub repository. In the GitHub repository you can find this file seed.py file, so you don't have to manage the data by yourself. You can just copy this seed data and seed your database for uh, testing the functionality. Okay, cool. So we have all the data. Okay, so first we are going to implement a mechanism where if we select the subject, like if I select the mathematics, so the chapters will be sorted according to the math subjects, algebra and geometry. Like if I select the mathematics, only the algebra and geometry will be shown, others will be hide. Okay, because these algebra and geometry chapters have the subject ID for the mathematics. Similarly, if I select the science, so we will show only the physics and chemistry. If I select the history, so it will show only the world history. Okay, so this functionality we have to achieve using the JavaScript. So for doing that, um, open your select quiz template, and at the end add a script, and in the script we need to add some of the JavaScript to uh, match that functionality. And how we will do that? So we have the ID here, so we have to select this ID first and add the event listener for the change. So how we can do that? So document dot get element by ID, and the ID will be subject ID, right? And then when we have the element, so we have to add a event listener. So basically it will listen for a change. Okay, so if it listen for the change, like if anyone selected the option, so it will have a event that is the change event. And when we get the change event, so uh, we have to run a function, and that function, what we will do, so first in the function we will get the subject ID, and that will be this value. So we basically whatever option we will select, that will be the subject ID. Okay, so the value will be the subject ID basically. And then we will select all the chapters. Okay, for selecting all the chapters, um, we have the chapter ID, and then we have to select all the options for this selection. Okay, so for doing that, um, that will be chapters. Okay, and that will be document dot query selector all, where we have to select the ID, chapter ID, and then all the options. Okay, so chapter ID, and inside chapter ID all the options. So once we will have uh, the chapters, and then we need to filter the chapters based on the subject ID. Okay, so what we have to do to filter, so chapters dot for each um, for each chapter, if um, we have to filter all the chapters that um, that will have the subject ID. Okay, but with the options we haven't provided any subject ID here, like um, so we have to provide some of the data here, and that we can do using element data, or the attribute, sorry, not the element, data subject ID, and inside here we will pass the subject ID value. So the subject ID we can get using the chapter dot subject ID, because all the chapters have the subject ID. So with this approach, for this element we can then uh, fetch the chapters for the subject. Okay, for getting that value here, uh, we can have if chapter dot uh, data set dot subject ID equal to subject ID uh, or or we can also um, take this uh, mm, we can also take this key as option, because some of the options don't relate with the chapters, like this option. So this option is having the blank value, so we always have to show this option. Okay, so that's why we are taking this key as option. So option dot dataset dot subject ID if matches with the subject ID, or if option dot value equal to blank. So in both of the cases we have to show these options. So option dot style dot display, and the display will be block always. Okay, else if this case is not matching, then for other options we have to hide. Okay, so using the display none style we can hide other options. Okay, save this script, reload the page, and now select the subject and check if it is working. So I have been selecting the math, and now all the chapters has been sorted based on the mathematics. So algebra and geometry we can see for now. If I select the science, so we can see only the physics and chemistry. If I select the history, so I can see only we can see only the world history. Okay, so this was needed. Okay, uh, next we have to implement the logic for filtering the quizzes. For now it is not working. Okay, so we have to implement this logic. For filtering, what we have to do, um, so this is the form, and when we post, so it will go to the select quiz and post method. So what have to do, if request dot method equal to post, right? So if the request is more post, so what we have to do, we have to just first get the subject ID and chapter ID from the form. So the subject ID will be request dot form dot get, and from where we will get subject ID, this one, the name subject ID. So get from the subject ID. Similarly for chapter ID, the request dot form dot get and the chapter ID. Okay. Now, uh, it could be possibility like user can select only the subject and filter the quizzes. So we have to filter the quizzes based on the subject. In that case, they can also select both like subject and then chapters. So like if I have selected mathematics and then I have been selecting the algebra, so basically I have selected two filters, the subject math, and then we have the two algebra and geometry, and then we are selecting the chapters. So in this case we have two filters, subject ID and chapters ID both, but might be we can also select only the subject. So if I have been selecting mathematics, so we have to show all the quizzes those are related to the algebra and geometry. Okay. So for both cases, we have to apply the filter. So if subject ID is available, then uh, we have to run the quiz filter. So quiz dot query dot join chapter. Why? Because the quiz have only the chapter ID, not the subject ID, but the chapter has the subject ID. So that's why we have to join the chapter, and then we have to use the filter, and in the filter we have to match if the chapter dot subject ID equal to the subject ID that has been provided from the form. Okay. And when we get all the quizzes, so we have to select all the quizzes. Okay. Similarly, if chapter ID is also available, then it will real easy to filter the quizzes, because quizzes already have the chapter ID, so it is quick. So quiz dot query dot filter by, and the chapter ID filter by chapter ID equal to chapter ID, and then all the quizzes. And at the last, we are already then pass this quizzes param here, so we don't need to do anything else. Save it and reload the browser, and now try the filter quizzes functionality. So select the math first and click on the filter quizzes. Now we get all the subjects, all the math subjects like algebra and geometry both, right? If I select the science filter quizzes, so we get all the quizzes based on the science subject, physics, chemistry, advanced chemistry, both, all. And if I select the history filter quizzes, so we get the quizzes for world history and advanced world history, all. But if we try both the filters, so like if I have been selecting math and I just want, so first select the math and filter the quizzes. So we are getting four quizzes, algebra, geometry, both. But if I select the math and I want quizzes for algebra only, so select the algebra and filter the quizzes. Now we get only two quizzes, algebra basics and advanced algebra. Similarly, if I want to select the quizzes for geometry, so math and geometry, filter the quizzes, so we get the quizzes for the geometry. And similarly for the history, when we select the history, we get the chapter for the history subject. And if I click the world history, so it will filter the quizzes based on the history. If I select the science, there are two chapters for the science subject, uh, physics and chemistry. If I want quizzes for chemistry only, so select the chemistry and filter the quizzes. So we get the quizzes for the chemistry, basics and advanced chemistry. So um, all the filter functionality is working. Now we can go to the quizzes based on the selection. Like if I want to filter the quizzes based on the algebra, and when we and then I try to attempt these quizzes. So like attempting. So 2 plus 2 is 5, 4, 10 minus 4 is 6, 3 into 5 is 15, and submit the quiz. I got the score as 3 out of 3. And when I see this leaderboard, so my ranking is 4. So the total score is 3 because I got the 3 for the one quiz. But um, if I attempt one more quiz, like I have like if I select one more advanced algebra and attempt it. So what is the solution to x square minus 4 equal to 0? That will be both 4 and then 2 or minus 2, and or the derivative of uh, x cubed. So that will be 27. So this will be, and submit the quiz. So we got the 2 out of 2, and then check the leaderboard, and now my ranking is second ranking, right? So all the select quiz filter functionality is working now. Okay, before closing this video, we have okay. So we have a lot of templates related to the user. So just separate all these templates inside the user directory, so it will be easy to manage. Okay, so create a new user directory, and all the templates related to the user just move inside here. So attempt which related to the user, so move it. Dashboard is also related to the user, so move this also. And leaderboard, then quiz results, and then select quiz. So 5 templates are related to the user only, so we have moved here, and we need to change inside the roots also for all these. So attempt quiz, where is the attempt quiz? Attempt quiz. Okay. Okay, so the dashboard we have, so the dashboard we will render from users slash dashboard now. Attempt quiz, this is the attempt quiz. So attempt quiz will also render from user. Quiz results is also user, so it will also be user slash quiz results. Then the leaderboard, so user slash, and then the select quiz. Okay, just run one more time to see all are working or not after moving inside the user directory. So reload it, go to the dashboard, it's working, leaderboard is working, select quiz is working, three are working, dashboard, leaderboard, and select quiz. Remaining are quiz results and attempt quiz. So attempt quiz, click here, it is also working. And quiz results we can see only when we have complete or finished one of the quiz. Okay, so go to any one of them, just go to the world history basics. And who was the first president of the United States? I don't know. Might be Abraham Lincoln. And which year did World War II end? I can guess only, I guess the 1943, I guess. Submit the quiz. Okay, I got the 0 score, but we got the quiz results page working, so that we have to test it. If you have to test, basically it is working fine. So after moving inside the user, it is working. Now we have done with all the functionality, and we need to push the code. So you can also check the seed data from the GitHub repository. So for doing that, git add then git commit, and we are done with the user dashboard functionality. Okay. After the commit, we need to push our code to repository. Okay, we have pushed our code. Okay. All right. We can check our code by going to the repository. So inside the GitHub repository, go to the commits and user dashboard functionality we just pushed. That having all the changes, like 24 files changed and all the changes you can see. And for c.py file, you have to go to the GitHub repository from the description. So you will redirected you will be redirected here, and from here you have to check this file for all the sample data. So you can copy this data for your project. Okay. Okay. We are done for this part. Next, we need to refactor our code base. So we have to divide in chunks, so it will be more easy to manage whole thing. Like we can separate the functionality for the routes inside the controller, or we can create more models and styles. We need to also style our application. Might we will use the Bootstrap or some other CSS. So that will be next. And then we will refactor, and then we will done with this application. So see you in the next video.